Hello folks, and welcome to Erannorth Chronicles. This is a special episode where we will be doing a Homunculus Druid of the Stone build in the Ironman mode. So let's start by going and checking out what we have here, Homunculus. The problem that folks are facing is this: non-geomancy actions, action points cost 2 points. And this means that if you are going to be using actions outside geomancy, you will be having a trouble. But your starting deck consists of such cards, so what gives? Let's find out. Okay, so our starting deck consists of some very powerful cards, including being Clay Wall, Forceful Slam, and Earth Conduit. These cards you will probably keep for a very long time in your deck. And for the Stone Druid, we have Might of Stone, Rock Shards, Rolling Boulder, Encrust, Stonefolk Warrior, and some other cards that we end up not using so much. As part of our Druid kit, that is. Background, I will be picking the healer, which says that whenever we heal, play a card we heal, we restore one action point. And what you need to know about ripple effects is that this refers to base value. If you have a perk that affects everything and increases AP restoration, then it will affect this ripple effect as well. So let's go here on our attributes. I will reset my points. Now I have 11. You will probably have 8 because I have some mastery with the elementals and the druids. And this is why I will leave 3 level up points unspent at all times. So let's go and make this into a 15. That will put our agility to 11, which is the bonus threshold for getting an AP point, and also neutralize any penalties that it may have. We'll forsake all these 3 and leave us with Geomancy and Herbalism and 3 unallocated points. Now going to our skills, we see that we have an Earth of +4, which is great. Starting kit, we can go with this kit right here, Druid Gears number 2, and for personal details we can go with the Cloud Giant as our avatar. I like this as a druid, would be nice. His name is Brog. And finally, let's change our difficulty to Ironman, because here we won't have access to towns and we'll have to face our handicap head on. So let's see how this will go. Play. Yes, I know I haven't spent points. First job is to go to the character sheet. Unlike the modes like campaign or something else where you don't have access to perk points, here we have access to perk points, but I don't particularly care in any of these starting perks right now. So I will save these points for later. Equipment, we have a Sunstone token. It costs 2 action points and heals 2 hit points and restores 1 because healing effect will trigger. For now I will just unequip it. Wolf Talisman has a shapeshift. We don't have shapeshift yet. Heal 6, resist to piercing and primal 8. We will also drop it for. So this is our modifiers. As you can see, the geomancy bonus and the generic penalty clash with each other, giving us a +2 action cost in all actions and a 0 AP adjustment in the geomancy actions. So all we get is a handicap to all non-geomancy actions. Let's go to our deck builder. I will empty my deck and I will start by getting in my geomancy cards, like so. Geomancy, and I want to put all of them in for starters. And now we have 5 cards which won't necessarily be advantageous for us to use. Let's see which is them has the least disadvantage. Ascetic Life. Playing this card gives you negative strain. It also has a discard effect, and discard effects are free. So this card is great because discarding it will heal us and restore 1 action point. And playing it will give us strain, which lets us chain actions that ignore synergies. So already we need just a few more cards. Of course, we can take Patch Wounds, Healing, Loose Bleed, what's not to like. Costs 3, will restore back 1 action point. And finally, the Boar, which is an ally, and it will come into play, giving us several turns to wash away its cost, and also gives us this amazing card right here, Gore. Close. So, our deck is ready. Let's face the first wave of enemies. Now, from what I hear, dying in these first encounters is something that happens with the Homunculus and Homunculus Druid of the Stone, so let's see how this will work out. I will start by forcefully slamming one of them, the guy with the single combat, trying to stun him. Doesn't work. So I will discard this card for defend, move him into the front. Getting 1 flank, 1 attack. I will try to stun this guy. Take this one down. Heal, heal. Ascetic Life. Attack, attack. This changes both their abilities to something that doesn't bother us much. Earth Conduit, play the Boar, and now we will be using this card right here and this card right here. No, I don't think I will spend my bandits at this point. Let's sneak and see what we can get. I will get the shield. And I will just get this wound in my stats. Now I will go to my equipment, equip this sandstone token, and equip my wooden shield. Stun the wolf with the discard ability. Discard is free, if you recall correctly. Strengthen my stone folks. Attack with my boar. I wanted to replace this boar. I should be more careful. Playful leap. Destroy the frog. Discard my shield. Try to stun the wolf. We have only one action point left. You don't want to attack the wolf because he will just enrage, so let's go with the plant character. Let's use its passive. This gives us some health and some action points back. Stun and cripple the wolf and bring our stonefolk down. Stonefolk also have a morale that when they attack, they stun. And this is great also. So he switched to enrage then attack. But I think I will get rid of the clay wall for now, as we are passing through nodes that we don't need to use AP. Attack, morale, stuns him. And let's kill him with our bow. At this point, yes, I will use my bandage. Don't have an AP, we'll use it here. Study the grimoire. Landslide, rock shards and crust. We'll add a landslide to our deck. And at this point go and we can remove one of the cards that are not geomancy entering it. Particularly, I will start by dropping my wild boars to 2. Let's use the bandage now and go next. Galdorax. Let's start with our rolling boulder. After first we play the primal conduit. Use this card right here on this guy. And now put him in the back. Stand. Gore. Stun with our shield, get some defend with the discard ability, heal a bit, and finally six to 10. Defensive stance is inconvenient. I'll better get the attack. And let's heal ourselves. I will discard this. I will keep the clay wall. If you keep cards with recurring, they are getting played automatically at the start of the turn, and you don't pay this cost, you only pay whatever cost is listed here. Let's use conduit. We are almost going to level up soon. Let's start with the grimoire. I will add one more forceful slam to my deck, and I will also drop one more boar. So this is how our deck looks like right now. The only penalized, heavy penalized cards is the wild boar, but he is worth it. He's really worth it. Everything else is just plain old geomancy, and these cards we get back one of the AP we pay for it through the healer background. Wild acorn seal combat. Let's start with the wild boar. Forceful slam, single combat, discard. I will get rid of this. And this guy will go and attack my boar. This guy will play Wild Acorn, which have some debuffs, Dispel Bleeding and Venomed, and gives defensive stance. Defensive stance is the problem, and gives defensive stance to all of these guys, so it will make them much harder to kill. Frost touch is also equally dangerous because it will give us frost bites, will cause us lose hit points and action points, and we don't want that. So I'd say he is the greatest threat. at the table right now. So let's stun him, put him in the back. I will use my primal attack here. And we have 2 more attacks that we will be taking. But one of them may be the hardest we can stun. So this is the table. Let's start with our random action, rock shards. He will now shield, throw stats, let's see if we can avoid it, and we'll take the little Ratfolk attack. He now switches to his normal attack. We got a level up, so we can now use our rock shards and we can forceful slam him and incapacitate it. And I will just kill him with my bow. Okay. So, the boss is the Chirurgeon. Nothing extraordinary, so let's start with Earth Conduit. And we got our tomes, so let's use the first one first. I will get another Earth Conduit to my deck. So we completed the first area. We can now visit the town before we started the next one. And we have 202 farthings we can invest in various actions. Stone spikes is a great choice. Landslide, it's an expensive but nice choice. Thread of Earth is something that we can't afford. So as you can see, equipment costs a bit higher, so you don't want to buy anything, you don't want to get stuff that are not useful for your build, that don't contribute anything to it. Let's get stone spikes. So here I will equip my fossil talisman. The Sunstone token, I will unequip it for now, and in my deck I keep a Grasp for the discard effect particularly. As it is my deck, I don't care to remove any of the cards that are in it. So here we get our first perk, which is Devoted. This will give some extra willpower, and also completing an area will, we don't care about that part. Healing +2. So that's a start. Secondly, we have 2 points, because as a reminder we have 3 more that I won't be using, and we can go and put them to our intellect. So I have 2 points which I'm putting to my intellect, and at the next level we'll be able to increase our hand size to 5. Stone Claws, we'll add this to my deck, and I will draw a Conduit in my hand, because I can't pick any more cards. Add a blue darling in my stats. Venom Blade. Gain envenomed, 3 intense damage, and also crafts wariness, which is a bad malady to have, so he has been promoted to the top threat. So let's start with Earth Conduit, Hell Rock Shards, Hell Rock, single combat will die on my ally or get close to death. We'll take some extra damage from the flank, unfortunately. Let's discard it. I will attack this guy to kill him so I can pass the stun to the next, see if that works. It doesn't. and cripple is enough to kill him. So I usually don't play gauntlets because they are not very interesting in my opinion in comparison to the world map. Some people say that in the world map you can just go wild and do easier areas, but the reality is that you can't, because if you do, you will waste your time. The rewards are much lower if the areas are below your level. So it's imperative to push on with harder and higher risk, high reward areas while doing the world map. It's much more interesting in my opinion. Okay, so nothing to worry about here. I will start with core. You can stun all these guys. We have 4. Let's go with the landslide first, the more unpredictable of them all. And this one will die. Mark, discard. Stun didn't work. Stun worked. Stun has a chance to be resisted, so if you are prepared that it can get resist, you'll be on the safe side. The boar simply amazing, no cost is enough for that awesomeness. Okay, so let's take our earth conduit for a spin, use it here, and I think I will discard this and this and the wall because we'll be passing through. Landslide, earth beam. I will don't think I need another landslide in my deck, but perhaps later on when we have more action points. Let's bury the corpse, and we still have enough action points to fight the encounter if the tracks leads us anywhere.
This is terrible.
So some of them may have resistance to stun, they don't, but that doesn't mean much. Freeze kill, freeze kill, freeze kill, venom, venom, freeze kill. Okay, so one attack will go through. Now you may wonder why I'm not so worried about these shields or these guys, generally speaking, is because we will kill them with bleed. Let's go this one down. He's already marked, so So as you can see, Homunculus works just fine, and all you have to do is just play with what you are given. This one will die, so let him die. Meantime, I can heal myself. Well, of course, it's premature really to speak. I will see if we can survive the second boss, but what motivated me to make this video is the claims that Homunculus couldn't survive one or two encounters in the Ironman mode, and that doing so in campaign it's easier because in campaign you can take your time, for example, and so on. And you have so much stun as a Druid of the Stone that it's insane. Let's start with Earth Conduit. Play our Stonefolk Warrior here. Use his card here. Kill him so we can stun this guy. Morale is a bonus effect that is played after the damage has been resolved, so this means that if the target dies, morale transfers to the next one. And let's leave the Forceful Slam for the boss. We'll also leave this guy for the boss as well. Okay, so we have 2 more points to spend, and one will go to Intellect, and the other we can put it on Willpower or Agility. Willpower is the most immediate gains, because at 14 we have the next threshold of AP points increase. And now we can start with our Druid things, like getting our first shape-shifting power, the 5th order. So let's go to our deck builder, check out what's not there. Apparently the cards are already in my deck. So, shape-shift to wolf and an alternative discard defend, and also our first form, which we already get right away. So you don't need to play this card if you don't want the extra shapeshifts, for example. But for now we can leave things as they are. There is nothing in the progression. Progression is exclusively for the sandbox mode. Equipment, the Sandstorm's token is a bit more interesting now. It costs 1 action point and heals 4 hit points, but this is what we will be adding to our deck. This plays along with our Fossil Talisman, but Fossil Talisman was bound to be dethroned at some point, we'll see. that was the right choice later on. Ascetic life. Let's play it. Get the Art of Felice. Now we have strain, and any spell component card that we play, any card that this has this symbol, won't break this strain, so it's free. Let's start with this, Might of the Stone. Let's add Weaken and Vulnerable to our next spell. Our next spell won't be this. The next spell that will trigger all these effects must not ignore synergies. So let's get rid of the. Now it's mine. Okay, that was a bit bad. The random effect broke his stun. So shapeshift to a wolf. Let's give it a try. Let's start with the Earth Conduit. This is Bludgeonic, so amplifying it has a meaning. Play the Conduit, get our ability. I will discard this. And that's it. Let's get a rope into my stash. Let's get let's get this to my stash. Okay, and that was it. We went through the first two areas. We are level 3, we have enough action points, all our deck is geomancy, there is nothing the Homunculus can't do as a Druid of Stone that you could do with someone else. That doesn't mean it's the best to pick for any profession, but he can make a very excellent Druid of the Stone, and the reason for that is because eventually you can get to become an elemental yourself. And once you become an elemental, I will show you what you can do. Let's go to the player's handbook. So when you shapeshift to an earth elemental, what you do is that you play this card at each of your shapeshifted forms, shapeshifted turns, sorry. And it gives you these awesome and amazing cards which are primal and you can amplify with your conduit, and it's pure brokenness, this build. But of course you have first to think carefully, plan tactically your build and survive the early levels till you get there. Anyway, that's all folks. I hope you enjoy playing with your own homunculi and meeting the challenge to build a nice homunculus character. I'll be seeing you next time. Have a good night. Bye bye.